Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 416. It is the third day of the week, aka the Spirit Bomb workout. Feeling very good right now. Very excited for this workout. But anyways, to the main subject matter for today, which I already feel like there's already going to be comments on this if this video somehow escapes the little bubble that I'm in, and that is coping as an insult is retarded. So, the main reason why I wanted to discuss this is because recently, what has been coming into the public lexicon a lot has been the term coping. You know, when anybody is doing something that sounds like they're coping, obviously, with whatever thing there is. But I find it a retarded use of the word in the certain sense that it is used as a, derogatory sense, you're coping, that entire idea. But it's retarded in the sense that you could do so much better than just saying you're coping. And I think that it makes it so whatever you're saying gets nullified because you're saying something like that. You're simplifying what is being said. And I think that that's the main issue I have with it. And people go to it a little too quickly in order to justify, whatever they're saying, when in reality, you could go so much better, so much deeper, and so much quicker with other words and or actually doing things that, or saying the things that should probably be said. So in today's episode, we're going to be looking at that as to why it's kind of retarded to just tell people they're coping and all this other stuff. And a few other things that are sprinkled along in between. And maybe some other stuff that you can call other people that you can still call them, because you can't say retarded anymore, but you can still call them stupid, which is technically worse than calling someone retarded, which is a very interesting thing, kind of retarded. But anyways, with that being said, I will see you at Mother Base. All right, so started this day off with 80 press, which is pretty good. But anyways, back to the main subject matter for today. Using coping as a insult or a way to deflect is retarded. So the main reason why I wanted to discuss this is because I still feel like this is the truth. I think that many people will do this. And before I continue on, I want to say the two types of cope that I see here on Urban Dictionary, because I think this is perfect. One, cope, the act of dealing with a certain causality that happened recently to one person. The process of trying to get over someone or something, dealing with what happened. Another way cope is used, a word to be used when you disagree with someone but don't want to think of an actual argument, typically used in internet comment sections. I think that's the main thing about it. Obviously, it's going to be something that's going to be used quite frequently by people, but at the same time, it's quite literally stupid. It's kind of like your way of looking at the world is retarded, so I'm going to not offer anything of help and or just make you worse off, if anything. And I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing in the world, but I think we can do better. I think this is more of a end stage of what has happened with all of the language that has been softened through the internet. Unfortunately, we can't go and actually say verbatim what we would like to say, and straight insults are not allowed anymore. I'd rather people just straight be able to insult each other, call each other retarded, tell them to end their life, that type of stuff, because I'd rather have that than have some idiotic idea of you're coping. What does that even mean at the end of the day? Because at the end of the day, everybody's coping in some way, shape, or fashion. Usually the same types of people that are saying this are usually doing something to get through life, whatever it is. Whether they think it's superior or not is out of the question. They are still doing something. It's just a circular type of circle jerk that makes it so that at the end that it's stupid, it's retarded, and it makes it not better than the person that you're saying this to. It's like you are bringing yourself down to their level rather than going down and punching down. You're just kind of getting next to them and going, ha, without really actually meaning anything. You tell this to someone and nothing is going to happen, because realistically, they're just going to be like, okay, and move on, because you have said nothing. You have said nothing to actually attack their core or attack the person. I think that that's the big thing. People like to try to get into quote unquote arguments and will just try to either default into something else without actually either insulting the person, because fuck having to actually deal with not insulting the people nowadays, because realistically most arguments on the internet are retarded to begin with, because you're arguing on the internet, which is an inherently retarded thing to do. So there's no point in actually giving and
real response to them. But also, if you're going to be a fuckhead on the internet that gets into arguments, at least be like, strong with it. Do not pussyfoot around by saying the most basic and or idiotic thing like cope. It just never makes any sense. It feels disingenuous and kind of retarded. You could do so much better and be more creative with what you are saying towards someone, especially when they are being stupid. And I think that that's the biggest issue, is that I feel like that's just me personally. It's like you're giving up before you're trying. The person that likes to troll in me is very upset whenever I see that, because it's not anything funny. It's just kind of like you haven't won the argument either. You've just kind of absolved yourself of the argument and you kind of ruined it. Now it's just become a whatever thing. You have upset the trolls from the past and have let them down. You suck.
It almost reminds me of that like video of like, look at this dude trying to be a good dad. Look at this guy. He's trying to be a good father. It's like where you're trying to insult somebody by just insulting how they are. And it's like, you aren't really doing much to them, because realistically, you're not attacking them as how they're actually living their life, rather than just the surface level of what they believe in, which honestly, most of the people that are saying a lot of things like this on the internet aren't even really that far deep into actually believing half of the shit that they are on. Because if you actually, just start asking questions about it, most of them will falter or shake on whatever foundation or weak foundation or no foundation that they've tried to make their entire mentality behind, and thus they will usually break down. I mean, the amount of people that can't even see the fucking spinning apple in their head should tell you that you're not dealing with people that can give a good coherent thought for a lot of this stuff. I'm coping and seething. And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, also none. Got everything in, thankfully. But anyways, to the main subject matter for today. Using cope as an insult is a retarded idea, or at least it's something that is stupid in a lot of different senses. The main reason why I want to discuss this is because I see the proliferation of the use of the word cope a lot. And at the end of the day, a lot of the time it is used by people that are also coping. So it ends up becoming a circular line of reasoning, and it becomes not really an insult. It makes whatever you are saying kind of stupid, because you are just pointing at this. It's like the Spider-Man meme, you know what I mean? Like the pointing at each other and they're the same person. It's the entire concept, but in an insulting way. If you're going to make fun of somebody's lifestyle choices and or the reasonings as to why they do things, attack the actual reasons themselves. Call them retarded, lacking of understanding of the mind and the knowledge that they have. Don't just say, hey, you're coping. And that's it. Who cares if you do that? Because at the end of the day, you're probably also coping too. That's the main issue I have with it. Realistically, a lot of the people who say this are doing the same thing, but their cope is better. That's all they're trying to say when saying something like, haha, you're coping. But in reality, they could just be like, so are you. And then there you go. If you're going to attack somebody, attack them well. That's the main crux of this entire issue that I have. If you're going to honestly critique someone's lifestyle or life in general, actually have points of contention, understand what's going on and actually try to come up with something that isn't just you're coping. Because realistically, who isn't coping? Like, who is living the life just steadily by without certain things? It's always interesting to me that these are the same people that are probably like, you're coping whilst hitting a massive vape hit. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing things that they're using to cope, but in other senses of the term. But, those two ideas are just non-synergized in their brain. So then all of a sudden they can kind of get away with telling someone that, but in reality, they're doing something. But I think it's just asinine and retarded to do that. Critique, but I don't give a fuck if you use it as like if there's an actual critique on the person. That actually makes sense. But actually use the ideas that you have in the brain for articulating what the cope is and why it's bad, rather than just saying cope. It makes no fucking sense. It's such a lackluster insult or line of reasoning or argument that it's just stupid. It makes you look retarded more than anything, because then what is your line of reasoning? None. You instantly stop. You just say the word over and over and over again, and then you say seethe or something like that. And then it's like, all right, you haven't said anything. You have lacked any skill in order to disassociate the things that you're trying, or disseminate the things that you're trying to say out there. So it makes it kind of stupid. That's why it's kind of frustrating to see that, because you can, honestly, I can agree with many of the things that people will say, but then they just kind of ruin it by saying cope. And it's like, all right, and let's see if there's a point here somewhere. Hopefully they can articulate it well enough to get to it, but sometimes they can't, and they just stick to the surface level, and it's like, all right, brother, good luck next time. Thank you for wasting my time. So, it is what it is. But if you can, at least try to figure out what the cope is and insult them from there, I could agree with that, but don't just settle for cope. It's so mundane and surface level thinking that it makes you seem retarded for even saying that. So good luck out there. And if you get offended by retarded, good luck with you as well. But with that being said, tell me what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. How many comments of cope and seethe will I see in the comments section down below? Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there and stay warm. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.